Good morning. Um, this video today is going to be one of the sort of developer diaries. Uh, I've said a couple of times in the last few weeks that I've set myself a Lovecraft challenge, and the intention was to create three Lovecraft-inspired games in 3 weeks. Now, I've actually, well, not games, but supplements. I actually did it in 17 days. The first one you're seeing here is Darkstalker for Dark Streets and Darker Secrets. That went live on August the 3rd. It's already a copper bestseller, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's you can see screenshots from the game there. It got picked up on Facebook. There's a nice kind of walkthrough through it. Well received. It was a lot of fun to do. Um, the second book was Cosmic Horror, which is based upon Eldritch Tales, which is from the White Box role playing. So that's a sort of D&D retro clone brought up to the 1920s. And of all of the White Box products, Eldritch Tales is the best in my opinion. So I've always liked this. They shift the emphasis away from character classes and levels much more towards professions and occupations and skills. But they still keep, if you've ever played any version of D&D, you would recognize this immediately. But if you've also played any version of Call of Cthulhu, you would recognize that. It's an absolutely brilliant sort of blending of the two. Um, that one is no, Eldritch Tales isn't a massively popular game, so I never expected to sell a huge number of these. It's on the cusp of going copper as well. That was released on the 10th, so that was the second week. Um, the challenge for me here was I have already done a solo book based upon the OSR way of doing things. Very D6 driven, minimalist, well, rules light rather than minimalist. Um, so this was functionally a very, very similar game, but I wanted to make it to pour in more of the mystery and Lovecraft and the mythos side of it to make it much more setting specific as opposed to rules specific. And I think I've achieved it with it. I was really, really pleased with this book. Here's some of the screenshots. Um, and again, you probably saw the video on that one. The third and final book went out on Monday, so that's the 17th. So we had the 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th. That's the 3 weeks. And this is Monophobia Rules Light Solo Role Playing. Now, there's an interesting bit on this one. Here's the screenshots. I always include the screenshots because these previews can be very, very erratic. And if that is going to throw up a 404, at least I'm showing people what they're going to get down here. So, and you've got 6 pages there, and often the previews are kind of 5 to 7 pages. What's interesting about this one is, now, if it will come up. Now this one went copper. It went copper in 15 hours, which I was really, really impressed with. So yeah, it's currently one of the hottest, which is no surprise really, because I say 15 hours to get to its copper. It's on its way to silver. This is the Call of Cthulhu community content program, Miskatonic repository. Now, here is mine. It's all new. It's all shiny and new, so we're doing quite well. Down here is the Solo Investigator's Handbook, Paul Bimler's book. Now, the fact that there was already a established set of solo rules for the same system in the same community content program, it's the first time I've really gone in where someone else is already doing it. But the difference is, now if I can bring that back up, here you're dealing with just 15 pages, and if you choose to go to have a look at the document, you'll see it is the rules light was what I wanted to do here. It is you can be off book. You don't need to be referencing tables to use these rules. It can all happen with just 3 dice, and you're good to go. Paul Bimler's solo handbook. If we just have a look at his, it's a brilliant product. It's much older, so it's a gold bestseller. It's 18 months old, so it's had a bit longer. Now, it's a 95-page PDF. There's no print option, so you've just got to scroll up and down. But you're dealing with loads of tables here. So this is broadly a mythic of what's it called? A mythic implementation. But you got lots of tables. You've got random hooks, rumors, clues, random events, tables of spooky effects, tables of for generating NPCs. More tables, reference tables, system tables, full system generating. These are his what you call oracles. But it's all table driven. You are in and out of the rules all the time. So with the handbook, this is not rules light. This is a big solid product. So the way of not competing head to head, but adding more options to the solo player was to go rules light. So these are complementary rather than competing products. So that was my logic there. So that is my the third option then was the Monophobia. That was my third Cthulhu product in 3 weeks. It actually took 17 days rather than the 21 days, but part of that was once you're in the kind of mindset of the Cthulhu horror, Cthulhu mythos, cosmic horror, investigative sort of ways of working, you're not having to reinvent the wheel all the time. They just became a flow from one to the other, and it was then a case of trying to say, how can I make these rules fit the game? And that's really what I like doing. So that's what I've been doing, and now we get to what I am doing. So this is the Free League workshop, and right now I've got Forbidden Hero in there as the second hottest. I've got Mutant Years Solo as the fifth hottest, and just on the edge of the page there is Solo Symbaroum is the ninth. 3 out of the top 9, or 3 out of the top 10 are all mine. Now, the first one I did was Mutant, and when we look down the Mutant, we see in the discussion area, people want Tales from the Loop. There's again and again mentions of Tales from the Loop, and all of my solo rules for the Free League games are really popular. They sit there in that top 10. When was this? Was this May or February? So it's been sat in the top 10 for 7 months, which is quite good going for a, a supplement. So I was playing Tales from a quick start, or might have even been from a Kickstarter version. So I bought into the full PDF rules, and it is a beautiful looking game. If I just flick through a few pages here, the artwork is really, really evocative. Yeah, I love it. It is very much. If I just go back a little bit, I don't know if you've ever played any of the Mutant Engine games, but it is you know, pure. Everything is the same. Uh, the game mechanics are consistent across all of the games. Um, the only negative I've heard about uh, Tales is the replayability. Now, one of the things I like about this core book is if we go back to DriveThru here, the last point here, there are 4 complete adventures or mysteries. They're called mysteries in Tales, and a complete campaign. Now, I've been looking at them, and they are going to keep you going for a very, very long time. Um, so this option of playing that campaign is going to be sat at the core of my solo rules for Tales, and it's one of the most common questions you get asked about solo play from new solo players is how do you play a module? Well, if you have this, the core book there, and you have my solo rules when I've written them, you will be able to play through the 4 seasons of Mad Science using the rules. So even if you don't want to do them back to back to back, which is actually it's not what I like to do. I like to be able to go, oh, what do I fancy? Oh, I fancy that, and picking it up and doing an adventure. Um, you'll be able to do that, and if you pick it up, once every couple of months, that will keep you going for the best part of a year. And a year's entertainment for it's a $25 rule book. That's pretty good going. So what I'm starting work on is um, these Tales from the Loop, because that is what people have been asking me. So yeah, that's it. My week is filled with 1980s pop culture, and it's quite good fun. So that's what you will probably see out in the next week or so. Okay, that's it for this week.